Many plants rely on the help of pollinating insects to allow them to make seeds and fruit. Bees, such as honeybees and bumblebees, are major pollinators and play a vital role in producing much of our food. Honeybees, like this one, make honey from nectar collected from flowers. They live in large groups called colonies. In a colony, there is one queen bee, thousands of female worker bees, and hundreds of male bees called drones. Bees have different roles or jobs inside the hive. These bees are forager bees. They head out to collect nectar, pollen, or water and bring it back to the hive. In the wild, honeybees nest in hollow trees. Beekeepers build wooden boxes called hives so that they can look after colonies of bees and collect some of the honey they make. At Brockwell Park Community Greenhouses, beekeeper Petros is about to open up the hives to check on the bees. Before he begins, he lights his smoker. The smoke doesn't hurt the bees, but it does make them a little bit sleepy and less likely to sting. Inside the hive, there are thousands of bees crawling over many wooden frames. You can see the honeycomb cell structure, which the bees have created out of beeswax. Beeswax is secreted out of the bee's abdomen. The honeycomb structure provides cells for the queen bee to lay her eggs in, and also for honey and pollen to be stored. Bees make honey so that they have enough food throughout the winter. The bee with the red dot is the queen bee. Beekeepers mark the queens in spring to make them easier to spot. The queen is the only bee in the colony who can lay eggs, laying from February to September. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs in a day. That's her entire body weight. The queen bee can live for several years, while worker bees live only around 6 weeks, but the workers will feed and protect her throughout her life. However, if the workers sense that the queen's eggs are running out, they will turn some of the worker bee larvae into queen larvae by feeding a diet of pure royal jelly made from nurse bees' secretions. Once one of the new queens hatches, the new queen or the workers will kill the old queen and any other queen larvae, and the colony will have a new queen. Once mated, she will soon start laying her eggs until she, in turn, is eventually replaced. After 3 days, the eggs the queen lays hatch into larvae. They look like little off-white worms or caterpillars, here in the red circle. Nurse bees will tend the larvae, feeding them with a mixture of pollen, honey, and royal jelly. Each larva will require 10,000 visits. At day 9, the nurse bees cap the cells with a mashed-up mixture of wax and pollen, the darker brown parts of this frame. Inside the cell, each larva soon becomes a pupa and starts its transformation into an adult. At day 21, the adult bee starts to chew its way out of the cell. Soon after it emerges, the bee gets to work in the hive, initially on cleaning and housekeeping duties. Male bees are called drones. You can see that they're slightly bigger with the female worker bees. Here's one with the bigger eyes. They're quite dozy, so Petros is going to gently lift one out for us. Their only job in life is to mate with the queen bee on a mating flight so that she can then lay her eggs. They depend on the worker bees to feed them, and they can't sting. Drones usually get to live for a season, but in autumn, they will be turned out of the hive and left to die. Here you can see a worker bee that has brought pollen back to the hive. Can you see her waggle dance? This dance shows the other forager bees where the pollen came from. The figure 8 movements show where the pollen was in relation to the sun, and the faster the waggles, the further the other bees have to fly. The pollen will be turned into bee bread and stored in cells near the brood. This is the main source of protein for larvae and adult bees. There are 20,000 species of bee and 200,000 types of insect that pollinate plants around the world. There are 270 species of bee in the UK alone. Numbers of bees and other insect species are falling across the UK. Honeybees are not endangered, especially in London, but there are many species that are, particularly solitary wild bee species. 17 species have become extinct already in the UK. Bees and other pollinators are a very important part of the ecosystem and pollinate at least 1/3 of food plants in the UK. We must protect bees and other pollinating insects. Can you think of any ways to support bees and other insects?